Let me ask you a question. If you were to think about where would you go to find someone who is really suited, who's really fit to be a missionary, where would you go to find that kind of person? I got 3 places I want to talk about in this video. 3 places that I don't think you would think about looking. You know one place? It's right here. Right here in Haiti. Or in countries like this, places that we have typically thought of over the years as places where we send missionaries. But why don't we look at these places also as places that should be sending their own? Some Crossworld missionaries who were here a few years ago, they had a vision for that while they were here, and they actually started an organization called Vision d'Antioche, which in English is the Vision of Antioch. It was a vision to create a Haitian mission sending organization, and that's what they did. They created the organization. We've got one family that's been on the ground in Senegal with Vision d'Antioche for several years now. We just have another couple, step grads, that just hit the field like 6 months ago, and they're doing great. Hey Siri, what time is it in Senegal?
In Dakar, Senegal, it's 6:29 p.m.
That's not too bad.
Bonsoir, professeur.
Bonsoir, Daniel. Comment est?
Ah, on est content.
Oui.
Très bien.
Ah, ça, bon, oui. Très bien, oui, bien content de les voir. Ça, mais nous-mêmes, nous commençons à sentir nous plus à l'aise.
Oui, au jour le jour, nous sentons plus bien. Nous parlons avec nous, nous saisissons, on dit, ah, bah, nous parlons.
Okay, so tonight, we got a cool thing. This is the last night of our student missions conference. This conference that we have every year, First Step, and trying to just help the students catch a vision for what God's doing across the world. But the cool thing is, we have several alumni now that are serving in Senegal, and so we're bringing them in on Zoom, and they're going to talk to the guys direct from Africa here in Haiti. Kind of one of these things that blows your mind.
Depuis 2006, 2007 et 2008, nous devenons définitivement avec Madame Moin au Sénégal professionnel. Bien que si nous ne voulons pas parler avec eux, il faut nous parler langue maman yo, mais les Haïtiens viennent ici dans le pays côté nous en Afrique de l'Ouest, dans plusieurs pays en Afrique de l'Ouest qui sont pays de langue française, nous avons débrouillé, nous avons parlé, nous avons commencé, nous avons vivre.
If you take a Haitian who already has French, they're already hitting the ground several steps ahead of a guy like me if I were to go to that field. Now, that doesn't mean we don't send guys like me to that field. We should. I think a lot of times, though, we still have a tendency to ignore what we call the global South. Another place you might not think about is a place like this, a business. There's been this movement going on in missions now for several years called Business as Mission, or BAM. It's the idea of taking a business, a legit business, but looking at the business in a different way, looking at it from the perspective of having multiple bottom lines, not just a financial bottom line, but also a kingdom bottom line. So one question to think about is you think about how could you make an impact in bringing the gospel to the world? Is it possible that maybe there's a market for what your business does in a part of the world where the gospel isn't making much of an impact? Or another question would be, is it possible that you could do what you do in a different part of the world? This is something that some friends of ours just recently did, by the way. Friends of ours from Dallas, they realized that they could do their jobs virtually. So rather than living in Dallas, which is a place that's thoroughly saturated with the gospel, they decided to leave the States and move to Panama. They're still working their same jobs, just in a place that's a little bit less saturated by the gospel. So if you're interested in this at all, a couple books that you can read. Here's one called Prophet for the Lord, which is looking at what the Moravians did. Here's another one called Tent Making, looking at different ways that you can use business to do missions. And then this is probably the best book that I have on this. It's actually called Business as Mission. a comprehensive guide to theory and practice. Okay, so one place to find missionaries in the majority world. Places like this. Another place in business. There's one more place though. You may have thought of this, but I don't know. Let's see. You know the third place where we can find missionaries? It's in the mirror. As I'm going around visiting people, a lot of times people will say to me something like, man, Luke, we love what you do, but man, I couldn't do that myself. And to that, I would say, why not? Why couldn't you? A lot of times when people think about it, they think about all the different things that they have in their life that would make it difficult for them to uproot. Maybe it would be too difficult to learn a language. Maybe it'd be too difficult to raise enough money to be able to live or find a way to support yourself. But what if there was a way to take care of all that stuff? Would you be willing to go? You know, right now, as you're watching this video, there are over 2 billion people living in the world right now. People who not only have they not trusted in Jesus, but these are people who don't even know about him. Don't even know that the possibility exists. The fact that there's that many people in the world today who have not trusted Jesus, that concerns me because Jesus offers life that is unparalleled to anything this world has to offer. But what concerns me more is the fact that right now, 2 billion people don't even have anybody living near them who could tell them about him if they wanted to hear it. That is something, frankly, that should keep us awake at night. And it means that we're going to have to get creative. We're going to have to look everywhere we can, mobilizing anybody we can, and get them out to the world. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. We love you. We'll see you in the next one.